Cześć ludzie, what's up people? Hola, VIGO'S dad here. Welcome to another episode. Guys, today we have a guest. I'm actually very happy. I stumbled upon this profile on Instagram. The name is Pla Pla Polish. And immediately it caught my eye. Because first of all, the design, design is very light and very fun. But also the way that the material is presented is very interactive. It's an account that teaches Polish, and the person that runs this account is Julia. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm a fan of Instagram stories, and she uses the stories a lot. She asks questions, she plays games, and to me was like, oh wow, this is what I was missing. The way that she presents her material, she's not drowning you in grammar and cases and all this, which I know it has to happen at some point, but it's a lot more interactive and therefore, at least to me, more interesting. I want to interview Julia so she can tell us a little bit more about teaching Polish, especially in this new era of social media. So yeah, let's move on and watch the episode, okay? Hi Julia, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, JT. It is a
JT,
Okay.
yes. You have your, Instagram profile, you have now a YouTube channel, you have a TikTok, and how should I call Pla Pla Polish? Is your school? Is it your school?
It is becoming a school. I used to teach Polish in schools. I started with Pla Pla Polish on Instagram, where I teach students short lessons.
I discovered you on Instagram. I don't know how come it popped up on my Instagram profile. It caught my eye. Of course, your visuals are fantastic. I really like them because they're light. You see, Polish it's a difficult language that sometimes for us foreigners can feel very daunting. All the
Especially at the beginning, for your ears, it sounds difficult because you haven't.
Yes.
And then you see those long words and you think, oh no, S and Z together, how to pronounce it? It's impossible to pronounce those two sounds. And then you got the information that it's only sh, and you already know this sound from other languages. It's nothing difficult.
That's why it caught my eye. Your overall visuals, to me that's important, right? Because you make it all look very fun. You have a design that seems fun. Also, you do a lot of, I am a huge fan of Instagram stories. So you do a lot of kind of like sometimes little games, sometimes like your way of teaching through social media to me was very appealing.
Thank you so much.
So I was like, that's quite easy. I know this one, like I'm there clicking it. Which, by the way, before I go, because I have a question in regards to that, but I want to ask you first of all, you can explain a little bit, but tell me who is Julia? What is your background and how did you end up with Pla Pla Polish?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for your opinion. This is what I want to do on that profile on Instagram, making Polish a little bit easier language. I know it's difficult to learn this language, but I read information that on Instagram, when you want to educate people, it doesn't matter if it is language or you want to teach someone to play guitar, for example, you have to make edutainment. It's like entertainment and education together.
Edutainment?
Yeah. And
it's a cool word. Edutainment.
Yeah, I have this on my board. When I'm preparing my videos, my short lessons, I'm thinking to myself, okay, is it boring? I think that learning by fun is the best way to learn.
When I saw your profile and I saw the way that you were teaching, immediately it felt easier for me to not only understand what you were saying, but kind of like retain the information.
That's great.
And I was like, oh, that's super interesting. That is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question. And this question was, because I asked my wife, listen, I have a list of questions here that I want to ask Julia, but do you have something related to teaching? She was a teacher also. And she said, okay, ask her, why are Polish language learning books so boring? I don't know. She says that it's always a task for the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, when I read this question, I laughed out loud because yes, some books are boring. I mean, pictures are old. You know, I open this book and I think, what's going on? It's I'm in the 90s again. Why those illustrations are so old? But in general, if the teacher is prepared well and have extra materials and you know, make exercises in the book more interesting, then the lessons are more interesting.
The thing that surprises me usually about these books is that so you start opening the pages and all of a sudden they're talking about cases and I'm like, what do you mean cases? What 7 cases? I don't know what you're talking about. So you have this on one of your YouTube videos. You said I think like 10 of the most important phrases. Mm-hmm. What I like about it is that you were putting an emphasis on communication, on speaking. Yes. Why, when you're learning Polish, there isn't a focus on communication immediately? Why no more communication and so much grammar?
I have some students, some kind of people that really enjoy learning grammar, and they are.
Who are those? I've never met those. Who are those?
I had one student. Yeah, there are people like him. They need a structure. They need to know the whole base. And there, we have students like, for example, you, students who want to learn without those grammar, and I don't know. You just remember the phrase. That's unbelievable for me, for example, because I'm the person that I need to understand the thing that I'm learning. I don't have such a good memory.
Julia, spadaj gramatyka. Spadaj gramatyka.
I started to make those videos, short lessons on Instagram, because I know books don't teach like that. People need just phrases to repeat. I chose Instagram because people use Instagram, for example, in bus or at the station or anywhere, at the toilet. So it's a quick lesson that they can take from the social media, and they will remember it probably somehow.
And I think when you learn something in a certain context, it's easier, at least for me, it's a lot easier to remember. It's a lot easier for me to remember a certain phrase if I associate it with colors, with your facial expressions, because you also do that. She does this coolest thing where she acts like she's 2 people sometimes. Yeah. So Julia does a great job at that. And I love it because, once again, you remember your facial expression associated with the actual phrase, you know, that I'm trying to learn.
The project that I'm making right now, it's 1,000 of most popular Polish words, and I'm going to create basic sentences with them. I will try to make such a big content for students who want to learn word by word, not with grammar structures.
Sign me up. Because I'm letting you know that your system works perfectly for a person like me. Someone just moved to Poland that is learning how to interact. I need to go buy milk. I need to know, you know, how to say hello, you know, dzień dobry, you know, how can I find this or that? Let me ask you a question. Let me go back for a second. We were talking about communication. So, as a teacher, how do you think cultures, a specific culture, let's say like Polish culture, how do you think it affects teaching Polish? Polish people are not so talkative at the beginning. So do you think that affects how it affects how Polish is, or at least how it was taught?
My experience is that Polish, we are so Slavic people, and I have such a difference on my lessons. When I have lessons with groups from Ukraine, from Russia, they are very shy, and I know we Polish people, I know it from my past, from school, we are in this group, we are very, very shy, and when someone is asking, do you understand? We say, and the eyes say, no, I don't understand it.
Blank.
And we are afraid of asking teacher for another explanation because we think, oh, if I ask, teacher is going to think that I'm dumb. Yeah, and with Spanish, with Italian students or British one, they ask a lot, thousands of questions, and sometimes I don't know how to explain in other way because I found 5 ways to explain one thing, and they say, say something else, and I know they think it's not his fault or her fault, or this is my fault because I'm the teacher and I cannot explain something. So this is a totally different thinking about lesson.
No, but I really do think it makes a difference, and it's great. But here comes something else that I am already have all my friends on YouTube bored with, which is the infamous new generation. I always talk about the new Polish generation because to me it's a great. I see a great difference in people like
my
you.
My generation is the first
say
generation without complexes. We are not afraid of making a success. Stars like Iga Świątek or Robert Lewandowski are the best proof that something has changed in our nation.
Also, you see, the thing is that because of that, you have new systems of teaching Polish, like, for example, like Pla Pla Polish, that I think is going to help Polish become a little bit more popular, because I say this all the time and I really believe it. I think Poland is not only developing at a rate that is incredible, but in 10 years, 15 years, and I know it sounds like a lot, but 15 years is not a lot of time. Poland is going to be like this incredibly popular place in Europe where a lot of people are going to want to go live, work, etc. So obviously you're going to have to learn Polish.
The Polish language has bad reputation because it is one of the most difficult languages in the world, but if you have determination, if you have a real reason to learn this language, you listen to the sounds of the language, you read this language on the streets, your mind, your brain becomes focused on that language, and of course it is easier to learn it.
You mentioned your student from Sweden. I have also seen people in Poland that are foreigners, and I go, wow, like you sound Polish. I'm sure to a Polish person you have an accent or whatever, but that's not the important thing.
Of course.
It's about communicating, and I get envy, but good envy, you know. I get envious, but like,
I want it for myself as well.
I want to do that too.
When you will be in Poland, it will be much easier for you because the language will be around you all the time. You just can't switch off the language. Yeah,
whenever I'm there, my Polish goes like this. Even I surprise myself sometimes. Go, oh, where did I pull that phrase from? I don't remember learning that. I guess I just, by osmosis, so, I learned it. But okay, I have another question for you about social media. How do you think social media has changed or is changing teaching and learning Polish, a new language, but let's talk about Polish, okay?
First of all, I think that social media is a great place to learn, to find education. For example, if you spend time on Instagram, learn from Instagram. If you spend time on YouTube, learn from YouTube. If you want to learn from phone without applications, change the language. Use Polish everywhere where it is possible.
I do agree on your advice, which I think is basically incorporating this new language into your life, whichever way, right? Like if you spend time on...
Because it's not the first time you take your phone to hand. You know how to use it. You will understand that zgoda is agreement without a translation, because the information is in one part of the screen that you already know that you should find there the information. So somehow your brain will take it as an old information. It's nothing new for you.
Now you made me want to do that. I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend I don't know if I can do 1 week. I'm gonna spend 1 weekend with my phone completely switched to Polish, and I'm gonna make a video about it, okay?
That's great.
I wanna ask you just 2 more questions. First of all, the first question is, what do you think are the biggest challenges for a person that is learning Polish? What do you think are the hardest things for people to overcome?
You have to be very strict with yourself, and you have to be determined. You have to repeat, and you have to repeat and repeat and repeat again until you will get this. This is the most difficult thing. If you stop after 1 week or 1 month because you don't see the progress that you expected to see and you resign, this is the biggest problem.
Okay, my last question for you before I let you go. Enjoy your Saturday. So we're recording this on a Saturday, people. So sorry. It comes out on a Tuesday, but we are using our Saturday for you, YouTube. Okay, so my question is, I want you to give us our Polish students what do you think are the 3 most important advices? Like if we're gonna only use those 3 things so that we can become successful at learning this, what would they be?
Oh, I've already said it. First of all, repeat everything you are learning. This is the most important thing. You have to repeat because there is a Latin sentence like repetitio mater studiorum, and it's always you just have to repeat things. Second thing, don't give up, and you can make mistakes, but try to not to do them, but don't be afraid of making them for sure at the beginning. And the third thing is to learn from everywhere, from billboards, from subtitles in bus, for example, from
that's
from
great.
the places that you spend time, like on your phone. For sure, people spend 3-4 hours per day on smartphones. Learn Polish from your phone. If you want to learn language, for example, from YouTube, you should watch channels like mine, where I explain some things about language. But also, if you are interested in cars, find a video about cars in Polish. If you are interested in cooking, for example, Italian cuisine, find Italian cuisine in Polish, because when something is interesting for you, it's much easier for your brain to remember it. So you can get a lot of more words, and your brain will be satisfied that, oh, this is what I like. This word I need, because actually I'm going to use this when I'm going to speak to people, or when I want to describe my interest, for example.
That is fantastic, especially if we are not in the country. If you, let's say, you want to learn Polish because maybe you're going to move there or whatever, that is a great advice. I really love it.
I'm very, very happy.
You're doing a really great job. Thank you for your time, and hopefully, I will say right now, we're going to make a part 2 of our interview, but we have to do something cool. We have to create some sort of game, because I have a lot of people that are learning Polish. Like I have a lot of foreigners that are either in relationships with Polish people, or foreigners that just moved to Poland, and so not everyone that watches my YouTube channel are Polish that already know Polish.
Really thank you that you invited me to make this interview together. Thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you, and I'll see you on part 2.
Yeah, see you on part 2, and see you on Instagram and YouTube for sure.
Boom! That's all, guys. That's the end of the episode. I hope you liked it. First of all, once again, I want to say thank you to Julia for coming to my channel, for doing this interview. I really enjoyed it. I want to invite you guys to follow her on her social media platforms. Pla Pla Polish on Instagram. She's on TikTok. She has a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Go there. Tell her that VIGO'S dad sent you. And you guys are really going to enjoy the way that she teaches. It's very interactive. It's very light, very easy. Yet, at the same time, you are learning one of the hardest languages in the world. Thumbs up to this video if you liked it. Please share it with someone that is learning Polish. Comment below about your journey learning this language. And I'll see you next week. Do widzenia.